Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the More Analytics Afternoon Energy Podcast for August 22nd. We're going to start off with the natural gas. Had a big down day today, left a gap above and left a medium-term bearish reversal above. That suggests to me that we're probably going to come off and test back down for these lows here at 188.20. I had mentioned this line right here at 214, which I said will warrant a decent pressure, but I stopped short of suggesting shorting below it. I guess I shouldn't have stopped short of it because it came off pretty steady right afterwards. Nonetheless, if we trade back above that line, it's going to warrant a decent strength again. That line is going to come in at 214.50 plus 0.5 of a tick per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that would precipitate a run and likely back up to this next formation above, which would be a larger bullish formation. Okay, the crude oil had an inside day today. We were bearish from the break below 76.71 and much higher also, but just on a short-term basis, saw 525 to the downside, a bunch of other bearish formations in here. I also said a solid break below, the solid break below 84.20 or 74.20 now warrants a solid pressure. We've seen 274 of that so far. Now, these are on hold because we broke above this formation right here, the 72.90 formation right here, which warns of higher trade. I did not suggest leaning against it as a long because this line just came just a hair underneath the minimum specifications that I used to suggest leaning against. But I would take a shot leaning against it as a short if it failed back down through it. And if that happened, we'd probably see a run back down towards 70.88 minus. But this could be an initial harbinger here of a turnaround in these because this has broken above this formation, does warrant a higher trade. But that being said, we really have to see a solid break back above where this major formation comes in at 74.30 to really suggest this thing is going to start to rally on a much more substantial basis. Okay, in the RBOB or unleaded gasoline, quiet day in here today as well. Been bearish in here after holding exhaustion at 76.08, rolled over 73.1 cents. A number of other bearish formations in here. More recently, the break below 209.32 projects this downward 18 cents plus. So we've seen 634 of that so far into here before short covering off the lows today. If we were to break back above that line decently, that's going to warrant a higher trade for days/weeks. That's going to come in at 209.44 plus 0.3 of a tick per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So real key pivotal area here. And if we did get long above there, that would set you up nicely for a run back up to here. And then this is going to be a bigger bullish formation up above. The heating oil, quiet day today. I had another line in here that we chopped through a few times, so that is no longer shown. We held exhaustion above. The 265.95 high rolled over 40.95 cents and a number of other moves to the downside in here. And then more recently, the trade below 240.08 brought in 15.08 cents pressure down into here. Decent trade above this apex here would probably warrant a decent strength for a day or so. It comes in at 232.21. If we break above this line here, which is much more well formed, that's going to come in at 238.08 minus 3 per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. That will project this higher at least 15 cents. And the Brent had a quiet inside day today. Brent, we were bearish from all kinds of levels up above. We held exhaustion at 92.18, rolled over $17.13. More recently, the trade below 80.57. More under pressure, we've seen 492 of that. Break below 78.28, brought in 263 of pressure. Now, if we get back above this line decently, that's going to warrant a decent strength. That's going to come in at 77.39 minus 1 per hour starting at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Gas oil, quiet day in there today as well. More recently in here, the trip failure back below 802.50 brought in 116.75 pressure and a bunch of other bearish formations in here. Most recent one, the trade below 741 has brought in 55.25 of pressure, and then the trade below 724.50 has brought in 38.75 so far. If we were to break back above this line decently, that's going to warrant a decent strength. That's going to come in at 713.49 minus 10 per hour starting at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and for the cadence going into tomorrow, the heating oil went out the weakest. The crude oil in the middle and the RBOB the strongest out of the three relative to one another. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you in tomorrow's podcast.